Hello everyone. This is just a quick update that's not related to the flashcard program I've been working on and uploading daily. And I know that's not the most popular sequence of videos that I've got out here, but it's kind of a pet project of mine, and it's almost done anyway. So thank you if you're still on here and you don't have any care about that and you're just skipping them. I still appreciate you guys. Anyway, I'm making this video because I just got back from the doctor's office after looking over my my blood tests that were taken last week. So since July 7th, I've been on the carnivore diet. Although I found out, unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, I found out that my favorite package of sausages that I've been eating had carb fillers. So I thought I was eating 0 carbs this whole time, but when I was eating those, which was about 3 times a week that I fry up them, they contained 40 grams of carbs per meal that I was eating with that. So if you want to do carnivore, you have to be careful. Just because something is a sausage or other meat product doesn't mean they're not cramming other stuff in there. You do have to pay attention to labels. That said, despite that slight setback, my A1C today is 6.8. That's coming on the heels of a year ago when they measured it last November. It was 12 at the doctor's office. And then in January, when they tried to measure it, it was unmeasurable. So I went from unmeasurably high to 6.8. And to put that in perspective, 6.8 is still considered diabetic. I was disappointed with that, and I'm pretty sure I will get it lower now that I'm not having the sausage with carbs that are sneaking carbs in for me. But my doctor was extremely pleased with the 6.8. In fact, she was saying, as long as you can maintain under 7 as a diabetic, we're happy. That's the standard of care. You just got to stay under 7. And I was at 6.8. It was interesting, though. It floored her when she found out that I got to 6.8 without taking any diabetic medication since July. So when she heard that, it kind of surprised her, because up until that point, I've been taking a lot. I've been taking 120 units of Lantus. I've been taking Rybelsus 14 milligrams, 1,000 milligrams of metformin every day. And I had Farxiga. I don't remember how much Farxiga I was taking. I want to say it was 40 milligrams, but don't quote me on that. I just know it was basically full levels of diabetes medication, all those types of medications. And while doing all that, my A1C was still unmeasurably high, and without any of the diabetic medication. The only medication I'm taking now is simply for blood pressure, nothing else. And my A1C is 6.8. And I fully anticipate in 3 months when we do our next checkup that it will be in the normal range. Now that I've cut out the hidden carbs that shouldn't have been there in the first place. So I just wanted to pass on this good news for everybody. All the other numbers on my tests were negligible if they were in the red zone. So what did go up was things like cholesterol. I'm still in the normal range for total cholesterol. In fact, very, very well in normal range for total cholesterol. They were slightly concerned with triglycerides, but my triglycerides have been high even before this diet. And I think that it will improve eventually, since carnivore tends to improve triglycerides specifically. Regardless of that, even though they were in the red on this report, she's like, this is marginal. There's nothing to be concerned at all. And so I will just add one final thing. As a diabetic, the trade-off that I have between raising cholesterol a tiny bit and potentially increasing the risk of a heart attack through the cholesterol side by 1 to 2% through that little tiny bump is more than offset by the massive risk that I had at uncontrolled diabetes for heart failure and all of that stuff as well. Reducing to a 6.8, and I'm quite confident will be normal A1C, is reducing my risk for any kind of heart disease, heart attacks, any of that, far more than that tiny little bump that my total cholesterol will probably end up taking in the end. And that's assuming that cholesterol actually even is the real indicator of heart issues. That, you know, anybody, if you look at the carnivore doctors who are out there, they're convinced that cholesterol is a harmless entity. I mean, your body needs it, it uses it. So high cholesterol doesn't necessarily mean heart attack. There is a correlation on a lot of studies, but we find out that the correlation isn't really as strong as people in like the American Heart Association are saying that it is. But even given all of that, just assume that it's 100% correct. The risk of diabetes is definitely far worse. Uncontrolled diabetes for another year, probably would have been blind by now, probably would be suffering kidney failure, things like that. And if not that, within a year or two, it would have been limbs getting amputated area. Instead, now, I might have a slightly elevated risk for somebody with normal cholesterol than where my little bump is. And because, like I said, my total cholesterol is still in the normal range. It's still well within the normal range of all the numbers. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but I want to say it's like 160 and it needs to be under 200. I mean, there was a bit of buffer room there. So again, the risk, though, of somebody with diabetes having a heart attack is far greater than somebody with the level of cholesterol that I've got. So even assuming cholesterol is the boogeyman that they say that. So that's kind of my update. I will just say for diabetics, carnivore definitely seems to work. And my doctor at the end of it was like, keep doing what you're doing because it is working. I've lost 30 pounds between doctor's visits. My A1C is cut at least in half from what it was before, and it should be normal pretty soon. So all that without any of the side effects from having to take the diabetic medication. So anyway, with all that, I do hope you all have a wonderful day.